Hi, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today, I'd like you to acknowledge that attitude makes all the difference. Your attitude to life determines life's attitude towards you. I'd like you to apply that principle to today's practice. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, take a rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to begin today's practice standing more or less in the middle of the mat with runway on equal sides. You're going to find your way into a small Pilates V with your heels together and your toes splayed out. And we're going to try to keep this turnout position as we start to play. We'll start with a little roll down just to mobilize through the spine and to activate the core. You're going to take a big breath into prep. On the exhale, you're going to nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back. Take it into a full roll down. Recovery, inhale. And then an exhale to peel back up, to restack and realign. Let's shoot for 4 more, making sure that you're starting to engage the core as you play with that roll down and that roll up action. Syncing movement and breath. Keeping the turnout position so that you can feel the wraparound into the inside and the outside of the legs. The next time you find yourself coming up from a roll-up pattern, you can either keep the arms relaxed at your side or you can place them on your hip creases. We're going to begin externally rotating on one side, and you can tap your big toe to the mat or you can keep the leg hovering if you like. Just waking up through the groin area, keeping a slight turnout position on your stabilizing leg. Bring it back to thee, give the legs a little shake out. Let's do exactly the same on the second side. Find your way back to your Pilates V, and if you've got long legs and you run out of runway, you might need to reposition to one side so that you've got more room to play with. We're going to take a large plie step out and back to start. Make sure that when you come into the plie line that your feet are slightly splayed out. Arms could be relaxed on your thighs, they could be on your hip creases, whichever feels the most intuitive for you. We're going to hold the next plie line and you're going to give me little pulses for 10. Then step the leg that's currently in the middle of the mat to the side of the mat so that you're now back in that little V frame at the edge of your mat. You're going to take the leg closest to the edge of your mat and you're going to float it off the mat. Arms relaxed at your side and placed on your hip creases. You're going to begin to trace a semicircle with your big toe, front and back, in a semicircular fashion. If you're feeling strong, you can float that toe off the mat, or rather hover it off the floor. We're going to end in front. We're going to find a hovering heel down, toe up position, and you're going to pulse in towards the midline with the heel. Then come back to that sweeping front and back motion through the leg. We're going to end with a leg behind us this time. Heel down, toes up as you pulse in towards the midline. Come back to your little V. Give the legs a little shake up. This time we're going to plie towards the midline of the mat. 2 more to go. We're going to end in the plie and you're going to pulse for 10. Come back to your original start position in the middle of the mat. Take it into 5 roll downs. Making sure you're keeping that turnout position throughout. Feel the wraparound on the legs. Working with your breath. Keeping belly to spine throughout. 2 more to go. Then we'll run through that little bit of sequencing on the second side. Arms relaxed at your side or hands placed on your hip creases. You're going to begin to externally rotate through the hip on one side. Do roughly 10 on one side. Give yourself a little shake out and then rinse and repeat on the second side. Come back to your Pilates V. Give the legs a little shake out. We're going to plie step out to the edge of the mat and back. Readjust your position on the mat if you've got really long legs and you're running out of runway. We're going to end in the plie and we're going to pulse for 10. Then step from the middle of the mat to the edge of the mat, setting up that little Pilates V. You're going to float your leg off the mat and you're going to start to sweep the leg front and back. We're going to end in the front sweep. You're going to think heel down, toes up, and you're going to pulse them towards the midline. Come back to your sweeping motion, front and back. We're going to end behind. You're going to think heel down, toe up, and you're going to pulse in towards the midline. Come back to your Pilates V. Give the legs a little shake out. We're going to plie step to the middle and back. Last one, you're going to end low and pulse. And from here, we're going to change our orientation on the mat and we're going to swivel to come to a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat with enough runway behind you to extend the legs. We're going to start by finding a long tabletop line. We're going to begin with a relaxed lower belly, but a long neck and back line. You're going to give me one belly up, putting your belly button in, hold it. Look over the left shoulder, hold, keeping the belly up position. Then bring your neckline to neutral and release the belly. Belly up, hold it. Look over your right shoulder, hold. Come back to neutral, release the belly. Belly up, look left. Neutral, release your belly. Belly up, look right. Neutral, release the belly. Belly up, look left. Neutral, release the belly. Belly up, look right. Neutral, release. 2 more sets to go. Make sure that once you've found the belly up position that you hold it while you peek over one shoulder and only release the belly up once you're back in neutral. Last set. As you complete the last set, you're going to drop down onto the forearms, all 10 fingers looking to the front of the mat. You're going to keep a soft belly up position and we're coming into a small fire hydrant, opening up one knee to the side of the room, and then we're going to play TikTok style. So you're alternating the leg that you're lifting with, but you're trying to focus on trying to keep your pelvis as stable as you can as the one leg lifts and as you transition from one side to the next. Halfway. Last one. We're going to transition. You're going to slide the left leg out behind you, float it up just to hip height, tap back out and drag it back in, then change sides. Once again, your focus is on pelvic stability as you keep playing side to side. So imagine that little spirit level between the two hip points and try to keep it center aligned as you keep alternating the leg lift. Don't kick and throw the leg up, slide and float it up, looking for a long extension through the leg. We're at the halfway mark now, so 5 more working sets to go. Keep that little space between the two shoulders open, so don't collapse between the two shoulder blades. Keep belly to spine throughout. Keep your gaze down on the mat so that your neckline is in neutral. Last working set, then we're going to change the arm line and we'll take the last 2 movement patterns and tweak them slightly in a combination. Find your way onto the palms. On one side, you're going to give me a hydrant to extend the leg in towards the midline at an angle, and then reverse your pattern back down to the mat and start to find an alternating pattern. So you're thinking knee out to the side of the room, then extend the leg and bring the big toe in towards the midline at an angle. So you're almost tracing a half a V pattern with the leg as it comes into extension. We're more or less at the halfway mark now, so 5 more sets to go. Strong through the arms, strong through the core. Last set, then we're going to find our way from here into a strong elbow plank hold, and we're going to try to hold for 30 seconds. Drop down onto the forearms, brace your core as you step the legs back and hold. Another 20 seconds to go. Last 10 seconds. Keep your core softly braced. Relax your knees, your shins, and your feet to the floor. Find your way onto the belly. Bend at the elbows, stack your forearms and your palms one on top of the other, relaxing your forehead to the back of your hands. We're going to find some individual movement patterns here on the belly, and then we'll marry them together and we'll form a little combination. So the first movement pattern, you're not going to see much physically from the outside. You're going to focus on relaxing your belly button into the mat and then gently suck it up before you release. So all you're doing is creating a little pocket of air underneath the belly button as you lift it off the mat and then release it back down. 10 times you're going to lift and lower. Then still the belly and focus on your legs. You're going to give me a small double leg lift and then whisper softly, come back down using your quads, your lower belly, your hamstrings and your glutes to make that lift happen and then softening to release back down. Still the legs, so you're thinking still from the belly button down, and now we're going to work belly button up. We're going to come into a chest and an arm lift, peeling arms and chest off the mat, hovering on the bottom rib, and then back down. If you need to work lower than this, you can connect anywhere from 3 to 2 to 1 rib on the mat as you peel up and then reconnect. Use those back muscles to peel up into the chest lift and then soften the shoulder line down to lower back to peel back down. Last one. Now we're going to combine all three together, but we're going to work them in a staggered pattern, one after the other, in a little daisy chain cycle. So we're going to do one belly up and relax, one leg lift and relax, one chest lift, relax. Belly up, legs, chest and arms. Belly, legs, chest and arms. Belly, legs, chest and arms. Belly, legs, chest. Belly, legs, chest. 5 more to go. Find your rhythm. Going into the last set now. We're going to roll over onto our side from here, and we are going to set ourselves up low to the mat. You can pick the bottom arm line that resonates with you. So it could be a long pillow, it could be a bent pillow, or it could be a small prop resting the weight of your head in your hands, whichever works for you. You're going to start by stacking your shoulders, hips, and knees in one long line so that the top half of your body is looking up towards the ceiling and you're not rolling forward and you're not falling back. You're going to keep a soft but active brace into your feet. We're going to focus on the top leg. Keep that brace, float the leg up to about hip height. Then pretend that you've got a soft tennis ball on your bottom ankle, and you're squeezing into the tennis ball and coming back. 10 times you're going to squeeze and float back. You're going to end with the top leg at about hip height. Lock that leg in position. Now the tennis ball is on the inside of the top ankle. You're going to squeeze the bottom leg towards it and come back to hovering just off the mat. 10 times. End with both legs floating just a little bit below hip height. You're going to bend the knees and extend, trying to keep a brace into the feet the whole time. Using that zippering up action through the lower abs to pull the knees into bend, and then releasing that contraction to come back into extension. Last one. You're going to drop the legs so that you're hovering just off the floor. You're going to give me a scissoring pattern, bottom leg coming in front, top leg behind you, small scissor. Focus on the front leg. You're going to tap to the mat 10 times. Just think of making your pinky toe heavy to the floor. Then still the bottom leg, but keep it hovering, and tap the back big toe to the floor 10 times. Then scissor the legs, top leg in front this time. Tap the back leg, up, front leg 10 times. Then tap the other leg 10 times. Roll over onto your back from here, taking a moment just to realign yourself on the mat. We are going to work a modified single leg stretch, but we're going to add a double pulsing motion to it, and we'll switch up the hand position today. So beginning in a bridge-like frame, neutral spine, big breath into prep. On the exhale, tilt your pelvis to 12, imprint your lower and your mid back. Find that contraction. Use it to pull the legs one at a time into table, and a little chest lift. Take your right hand and place it on the outside, so it's cupping the outside of the shin and the calf. Take the left hand and place it on the inside of the knee. You're going to hold that scoop. You're going to extend the left leg, and you're going to give me a double pulse, and then we're going to switch sides. So every time you're cupping the leg that's coming in, one hand on the inside of the knee, the other one on the outside of the leg, so that your hip, your knee, and your ankle are stacked one in front of the other as that knee comes in. One more set. Then relax back down to the mat. Let's cross at the ankle, right leg in front. We're going to find a modified tailbone lift, and we'll start by just finding our control line. Knees stacking over hips. Hands, relax, palm down at your side, or you can tuck the hands underneath the bottom if you need support. We're going to start our movement by drawing the knees slightly behind the 90 line. Then pull the knees through the 90 line, lifting your tailbone off the mat, and then slowly reconnect your tailbone to the mat. So 10 times you're going to pull the tailbone off the mat, and then relax back down, and you should be starting to feel that burn, that work in the lower abs. Five more to go. Last one. We're going to keep the cross of the legs and we're going to use that zippering up motion through the lower abs to float the legs up to the 90 line. And you're going to drop your legs halfway or a quarter way to the mat and pause. Bend the knees and cycle back up. So you're going to find a drop and hold before you bend to cycle back up. Try to hold your drop for at least a slow count of 5 before you bend and cycle back up. Arms are relaxed at your side, or you can tuck them underneath your bottom to support the lower back. Make your front leg heavy and allow the back leg to hold the weight of the front leg if you want to work a little bit harder. Last one. Unravel your legs, prepare for a little working rocker. Bend your knees, feet and knees about hip width distance apart, hands braced softly behind the thighs with a wide tracking elbow. You're going to think hollow belly, slightly rounded back to rock up. Then straighten up your back line, give me more of a boat V stretch through the legs before you hollow back out. And then repeat. So every time you come into the rolling motion, you think C curve through the back. Then you straighten up the back line as you come into your little boat with your leg extension, and you're shooting for roughly 5 repetitions. Then sweep the legs underneath you to rinse and repeat the work on the second side. Find your way down into the mat, low to the mat, pick the bottom arm position that resonates with you. Body lines stacked in one long line, feet softly braced. We're going to anchor the bottom leg and we're going to lift and lower. We're going to lift to squeeze back in. So remember, there's a tennis ball on the inside of your bottom ankle and you're squeezing into it as you come down. You're going to end with the top leg at about hip height. Now the tennis ball is on the inside of the top ankle. You're going to squeeze up to it and then try to come to a hovering pattern, so not quite allowing that bottom leg to relax all the way down. End with both legs floating at about hip height. Bend the knees and extend. Using those lower abs to pull the knees up and then relaxing to extend. Shooting for roughly 10 reps. Last one. We're going to drop the leg line so that you're hovering just off the floor, and you're going to give me a scissoring pattern, bottom leg in front. Tap the front leg 10 times to the mat. Just think pinky toe heavy to the mat. Then hover and hold the front leg and focus on the back leg, tapping your big toe to the mat 10 times. Now switch. Tap 10 times on one leg. And then 10 on the other. Find your way onto your back. You're coming into that modified single leg stretch with a double extension or double toe tap stretch every time. Starting in neutral, you're going to find your tilt and imprint. You're going to use it to pull the knees to 90, scoop and add a chest lift. Find your leg brace position and then double extension as the leg stretches out. Two more sets to go. Last set. Bend your legs and cross at the ankles. We're going to do left leg in front this time. We're going to set up our little tailbone lift. Find your 90 line. Drop your knees behind the 90 line. Then pull through the 90 line, lifting your tailbone off the mat. And then reconnect your tailbone to the mat. Shooting for roughly 10 tailbone lifts. Firing up those lower abs, that soft lower belly. Then use that pull up through the lower abs to extend the legs to your 90 line, arms at your side or hands underneath the bottom. We're going to find a drop and hold. Then bend to cycle back in 10 times. We're halfway now, so 5 more sets to go. Start making your front leg heavy and allow your back leg to carry the weight of your front leg if you want to work a little bit harder. Last one, and we're going to find our way into that little working rocker, and we'll add a little bit of both. Just make sure you've got enough runway to play with. So hollow out to rock back, then straighten up your back line as you find your boat hold, and maybe add a little leg extension, shooting for roughly 5 reps. Maybe you squeeze another 1 or 2 in. End in the seat, ground your feet, place your hands on the tops of your thighs, and just think toes off, extend the legs and come into a soft little fold. Don't overthink the fold. Maybe your hands stay connected to your thighs, maybe they sliding down to the shins or reaching for the toes or the undercarriage of your feet. Then peel back up, bend the right leg, place the sole of the foot on the inseam of the left leg, taking a moment just to check that both bum bones are still grounded equally into the mat and that you're not leaning into one side of the body. Take the right hand, press the right knee away, rotate away from your falling knee line, maybe looking over that back shoulder for the back edge of the mat. The toes of your support leg stay active, looking up towards the sky, And you're still thinking about what you're doing with that weight into your bum bones. So keep the weight equal on both bum bones. Then undo the twist of your trunk. Start to bring the right knee up and ground the foot. Reach across the midline with the left hand. Pull the right knee into center and hold for 10 with your body line looking towards the front end of the mat. So there's no rotation through the trunk and you're just squeezing that knee in. Now start to add a rotation through the trunk, twisting towards that incoming leg. Maybe you're just gripping the back of the outside of your thigh, or maybe you're hugging that whole knee in as you come into the twist. Weight on the bum bone stays equal, and your stabilizing foot is looking straight up to the sky. You're not giving me a tippy toe position, so you're thinking heel and ball of the foot in a nice straight line. Then untwist your trunk and start to bring the soles of your feet together, coming into a soft butterfly-like line. You're going to start to roll the weight bum cheek to bum cheek and start to creep your bum closer towards your heel line so that you're starting to stretch into the groin area, just creeping up your hands as you do so. When you're nice and tight, press into the feet and just make the knees heavy to the floor and hold for a slow count of 10. Then allow the feet to slide away from you. Think more diamond frame. Ground the feet, bring the knees together, squeeze them together. Place your hands on the tops of your thighs, big breath in. Think toes off, drag the heels into extension, add a little soft forward fold and hold for a slow count of 10. Then sit up nice and tall. Keep the right leg actively braced. Bend the left leg. Place the sole of the foot on the inseam of the right leg. Check the weight in your bum bones. Take the left hand, press the left knee out. Rotating to look away from your press line. Keeping the weight on your bum bones equal and looking for the tallest trunk and spine that you can manage. Then untwist your trunk. Think left knee to sky, ground the foot. Reach across the midline with the right hand, pull the knee in and keep looking towards the front end of the mat. So no rotation at first. Hold for 10. Then keep the weight on your bum bones equal as you come into full rotation. Maybe you're just holding for the outside of your thigh. Maybe you're giving me a hook around with that whole arm. Hold for 10. Check your spinal line. Check the weight in your bum bones. Keep your support leg active. When you're ready, you're going to find your way into your butterfly line from here, starting with more of a softer diamond-like frame between the two legs, and then starting to creep the bum closer to the heels, creeping the hands in at the same time, looking for more stretch, more work into the inner thighs and the groin. When you're nice and tight, don't overthink it, just squeeze into the feet and make the knees nice and heavy. Keep belly to spine throughout. We're going to find our way from here back into the standing frame to end off today's practice. Maybe stepping the feet wide. It's going to give myself some extra room to play with. Step wide. You're going to place your fingers on the mat. You're going to drop your head down. So you're looking down towards your perineum, not up. You're going to press into the hands. You're going to find your way to a soft straddle-like line. Bending the elbows, holding onto the forearms, and just hanging here for a moment. Looking for that stretch up the back chain of your legs. Maybe playing with the subtle north-south rock of the weight between the balls and the heels of your feet to wake up and stretch the back chain of your legs. Look for a nice heavy crown so that you're stretching the entire line of your spine. In center aligned, soften through the knees, uninterlace the hands, ragdoll style, leading with the back of your ribs. Restack, realign. Walk your legs into parallel so that they're stacking directly underneath your hips. Interlace your hands, invert them, press away. Send energy out through the heels of your hands. Then keeping your collar line as soft as you can. Float your hands overhead, thinking palms to sky. Collar line is still soft. Take a big breath in. Give me a palm tree sway to the left side, looking for the right side of your ribs and breathing into it as you hold. Keep belly to spine. Inhale, come back to the middle, and exhale to do the same on the second side. Come back to the middle. Bring the two palms together so that you're forging a steeple-like frame with your hands. A gentle but active press into the palms and come down along the center line to end off your practice, grounded, hands in front of your heart. Thank you so much for coming out to play with me today. Remember, attitude makes all the difference. Till next time, keep it light.